Good morning, Boots. Blueberry. Blueberry Boots, too. Guess what? I looked up September 10th, 2001, because I didn't forget about it. I had to look it up and find out what you meant, because I was slow. And when I seen it, I was like, oh, duh. Yes. In more than one way, you are absolutely correct. That did change a lot for a lot of people that day. That did. That absolutely did. I think that was the most crucial day in the whole in the universe. One of them, anyway. Well, in our time. I don't know. Yeah, in our time, because I can't say about the depression and the wars and all that kind of stuff. But in our time, yes, that was one of the most crucial days. Yes, I was looking at that, and then I got to thinking about it even more. I think because at that point in time, anybody who thought they had a future and was, safe as long as they did right, probably started to feel like nothing's promised for tomorrow, so I'm going to get what I can get, take what I can't get, or something like that. I don't know, but that definitely was a day. That was crazy. Yep. Oh, goodness. I was about to, I said today, if the Truth Slayer came on, I said I was going to sing her. Are you going to slow down and let me get over, or you want me to have a crash? Good Lord. People so stupid. They rather for you to crash and die than them just to slow down a small bit for you to get over. But I am definitely a race car driver when needed to be. I'm getting where I need to go safely. I don't want to pay no higher insurance. My insurance is expensive enough. But yeah. Shucks. I was excited, and then I got to watching this thing about an 18-year-old father who thank you, I will definitely try, who basically lost his life alive. You know what I'm saying? My baby mama was at work, he was at home watching the kid, and a 13-week-old baby mysteriously had a baby wipe shoved down their throat. So that kind of like was like, wow, that's just crazy. These kids ain't ready to be having kids or doing what it takes to have a kid, and then they have a kid and do something stupid and don't think of the consequences that come behind what they do. It's like I don't. When my sons were growing up, I always taught them, and I don't know why parents didn't teach their children this. Apparently they didn't. Every action has a consequence. I'm not even talking about the reaction. The reaction is just, I call that the jibber jabber in between the action and the consequence, right? Consequence could be good or bad or indifferent, but there is definitely a consequence after, following every action. And I don't even know where these people got, I feel like they lost their child somewhere in a shopping mall or something, like. But anyway, because nobody's perfect, no parent's perfect, no child's perfect. But I think that was one thing that was very important to teach the children, that every action has not only a reaction. The reaction is just a jibber jabber in between the consequence. So it could be a good consequence or a bad consequence. A good consequence may not be anything that is for sight. You know what I mean? It could be just, as I say, walk away to live another day. It could be something that's simple. Well, to me, that's not simple, but people will call it simple. It could be a peace of mind or, freedom or whatever. But on the other hand, you could do something different, and not only can your life be lost, the other person's life could be lost. uh, some innocent people's life can be lost, and then in addition to that, your family's life has changed forever, so the life that they once knew is lost. So anyway, I guess people just don't, I don't, it's crazy. Yeah, yeah. That's why I said I can't say all parents because nobody's perfect. But what I can say is some of these new parents, the ones that think that stuff is okay, man, they got to go somewhere, because I feel like those new parents is what's causing the parents is trying to fail. Well, they're not so much as failing, but for lack of a better term, it's they're putting, so how I'm gonna say this. So it's like, for instance, I'm gonna use DV. So you have a woman and a man. You have some parents who teach their daughter, keep your hands to yourself. You don't put your hands on nobody else's children. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. And you have a man, for instance, whose father didn't teach him that. Whose father thought it was okay to be slap a woman every now and then when they get out of line, or because they don't like what they say. So now you get a man and a woman who's in a relationship, and the man's talking about to his daddy, man, she don't never do nothing I tell her to do. Well, one, she grown. Two, that's not your child. Three, she grown. Four, that's not your child. You don't tell no grown person what to do. You can suggest, teach, learn, guide them or whatever, but you can't tell a grown person what to do. The dad says, well, back in my day, I just slapped the beat out of them, whatever. So then the man tries that, and maybe it goes on for a little bit, maybe it doesn't, but at some point, the Lifetime movie happens. Boom. This is crazy, but anyway, I don't even know where I started, but I don't even know how I went to that, but I think that was just bothering me, because what I was watching this morning, I shouldn't watch sad stuff in the morning or stuff like that in the morning. I didn't know that's what it was going to be, but that's what it turned out to be. Hold on. The sun in my eye while I'm driving, I can't really see. No, the younger parents are not built. Sure ain't. They ain't built to teach none, because they're trying to be their friends, right? And then for the most part, some of them wasn't even taught. One thing for certain that I always tell, this is a judgment. I do judge on certain criteria on a man before I date them, or if they want to date. This not now, because I'm just not even dealing right now. But if a man is constantly or more impressed with what the streets think of him, trying to prove something for the people out in the streets, opposed to his home life or doing what's right. And there's no one definition of what's right, but we know what's right is definitely not wrong. There's a fine line that's where we know what's right and what's wrong for certain things, right? But if he'd rather prove to the streets or to his homeboys or whatever, that's a red flag. That's something, real big. That's something real bad. And I think that's how a lot of young people end up behind bars, unalived, in situations they don't want to be in, because they're not trying to do what's right and what's wrong. They clearly know something is wrong, but they have to prove to their homeboys or their friends or get their street cred, you know what I mean? So it lands them in a very bad predicament or situation. Yeah, it definitely does that. And I think that's why a lot of people, and I think the longer and longer we go along in life, the worse the situations become, or the worse, the more they need to prove, and the more they have to do to prove. So the situations become more gruesome and worse than what they've ever been. Because some of the stuff that's going on now is like, I remember in my days, it was like unthinkable. Like, oh my goodness. Like, what in the world? Like, I don't personally want to know. I'd prefer to read about it from somewhere far, far, far away land or something. But like, what was going through your knucklehead to make you think at any point that this was okay? Like, unbelievable some of the stuff these people are doing. Unspeakable pressure, peer pressure, yeah. But I mean, if we could just get through their heads, or get them to see that the same people that are pressuring you to do something, one, ain't gonna be there for you. Two, may be the ones that tell on you. Three, pressuring you to do it because they don't want to do it. Or four, they know exactly what you're going through because they had to do it, and they just want somebody to feel the pressure that they felt, which is bad all of in itself. Hey, it's like, it ain't no joke. Yeah, I just be thinking of some stuff. I mean, hold on, yeah, let me put my sunshades up, my double sunshades. Hi, Sharon. No, my camera's off, love. Yeah, it's off, unfortunately.
His voice low and halting.
That's my audio book, y'all.
That he didn't know what he was thinking. That he'd made terrible mistakes.
Hold on,
but the words were empty.
In 1 second.
They were hollow shells, devoid of any real remorse. They were the desperate, meaningless sounds of a man trying to repair his own shattered image, not to heal the wounds he had inflicted upon his mother.
Alright, sorry about that. That was my audio book. I be listening to audio books all the time. Well, they ain't even books, they're just stories. And then I read. Yep, that was a good one right there. That's the end of it, though. Oh, and another, taking the heat for someone don't want to. Man, you know, I did a live before. I don't know where it was, but it was, I used the name Ray Ray as an example, right? And the example was, we all live in a cul-de-sac. We've been knowing each other. Everybody been growing up. But Sheila had some kids. Everybody had some kids. But Sheila's son Ray Ray ended up on DRUGS, and he broke into Tammy house and stole all of Tammy's stuff. Now everybody was sitting on the porch and saw this, but nobody wanted to tell the police that they saw who did it, right? So when Tammy was pressing charges because somebody whispered to Tammy that Sheila's son Ray Ray did it, they was all mad at Tammy because Tammy filed a police report so her insurance could pay for it back, because we know Sheila wasn't going to pay for the stuff that Ray Ray stole from Tammy, right? So they was all mad at Tammy. They ain't want to speak to Tammy no more. They stopped being friends with Tammy. But then lo and behold, Ray Ray broke into Keisha's house and stole Keisha's stuff too, right? Now Keisha feel the same pain that Tammy felt, right? But now Keisha want Tammy to testify with her that Sheila's son Ray Ray is the one who broke into her house and stole her stuff too, right? And Tammy said, yeah, I bet I won't. Because when it was up to me, didn't nobody want to speak to me. Matter of fact, this your first time speaking to me since the situation happened. You go do what you did the best way that I did what I did to get what I needed back. You know what I mean? So nobody... So no, and the fact that I could keep the name straight, and remember the names through the next part of it. So nobody understands how another person feels, or let me say, it's not that they don't understand. Nobody cares how another person feels until it happens to them. Now everybody feeling some type of way because Keisha, no, now they still mad at Tammy yet again. See, they was mad at Tammy for pressing charges on Sheila's son, Ray Ray, for breaking in her house. Now they mad at Tammy for not going along with Keisha so that she can press charges on Sheila's son, Ray Ray. So Tammy said, man, I ain't see nothing. Was you sitting on your porch? Yes, ma'am, I was. Yes, officer, I was sitting on my porch, but I ain't see nothing. You ain't see nobody walking down the street with a big 72-inch TV? No, sir, I didn't. And I was sitting here all day long. Oh, they felt some type of way about Tammy. But see, Tammy gave that same energy they gave to her when Tammy stuff came up missing. You see what I'm saying? So, like, was Tammy wrong? Was Keisha wrong? Was Sheila wrong? We already know Ray Ray was wrong, but everybody was protecting Ray Ray and projecting to Tammy. You know what I'm saying? The protection and projection. Oh, that's a good live right there. The projection and protection is a-hole backwards in this day and age. Ooh, girl, that's a good one. I won't remember it. I will not remember by the time I get off of work unless I make a note. What time is it? Let me make a note. Projection and protection. Ooh. Yeah, they was all wrong at some point in some time. Yeah. Because Tammy, with her knowing how she felt, just because she was mad at them for not helping her, if she wasn't going to say what was right, she should have said nothing at all. You know what I mean? But, I mean, that's why so many criminals get away with certain things and are able to do the things yet again, because we protect the criminals more than we protect the victims and the innocent. You know, because they came, you might not know that thing, stitches get stitches, stitches get stitches. So what I was listening to on some stuff, that people took that and they went to the left with it and stirred it up, and for the most part the criminals is the one that, you know, basically what I want to say, patent that situation, meaning it wasn't stitches you get stitches, I mean snitches get stitches for civil people who wasn't doing wrong, so to speak. That was meant for if two buddies doing some crime together and they both equally in part doing something wrong, if one snitch on the other, the one gets stitches. That's what I can't remember. I'm probably got it somewhere deep in all my notes. From what I understand, that's what that meant. But of course, it went a whole lot deeper to where nobody spoke. Yeah, but you know, back in the day, if somebody was doing something wrong, if Ray Ray if we had all been in a cul-de-sac, this is how it was back in the day, and I think this is how it should have stayed. If we would, hold on, protection and protection. I'm trying to write that down before I forget. Back in the day, I'm gonna remember that too. Hold on. Let me write this down. Because you know I'll forget. And of course, my smartphone want to do something dumb today. It keep changing my word. It's got protecting. It won't put protection. It keep changing protection to protecting, and projection to oh God. Okay. Protect. Can I get an O-N and not an N-G? Or maybe it's not that. Maybe that's spelled wrong. Whatever. It's close enough. Okay. Anyway, back in the day, if Ray Ray had been in the cul-de-sac with some of the older people back in the day, and they would have saw Ray Ray stealing something from Tammy's house, Ray Ray would have got beat from the first house in the cul-de-sac all the way around back to the first house in the cul-de-sac. If it was 17 houses in that cul-de-sac, 17 people would have whooped Ray Ray up until Sheila got home to beat him herself. And that's when them, you know what I'm saying? Listen, that's when child wasn't no problem. Child AB wasn't no problem. It wasn't a problem back then. And I ain't hear that many. I didn't hear too much about kids getting. Let me tell you, it was a different age back then. Y'all know what that mean when y'all hear that ice pouring in that metal cup. That mean that that cold drink is getting locked in. Y'all not got to have that cold drink locked in for the day, or at least until lunch. Um, Depending on how much I drink, I'll go get something for lunch. Yup, times sure have changed. I don't know if it's for the better or for the worse. I used to tell my mom, I said, I really feel bad for my kids these days and age. And she was like, why? The kids got it good, now. Better than what we had back in when I was young. I was like, yeah, kind of, but no. I said, now kids have so much they have to go through. Like some of the stuff the kids go through now, they definitely didn't have to go through back in the day. Dang, it's almost time for me to, good Lord. I was just having a good time. I did not even realize time was sneaking up on me so fast, y'all. But yeah, kids didn't have to go through as much as they go through in school nowadays, or out in the world now. Like, it's crazy. Like, man, my son had to deal with a lot. My baby boy, listen. Thank goodness his brother went through his brother didn't go through some stuff that happened when his brother was going to school. It helped us to basically pay attention to and kind of keep him from having to, when I say go through it, I don't mean go through it because my son didn't go through it, but it was happening. But it helped us to make sure he steered clear of those things as well. But yeah, I'm going to change the name of this live because it definitely was not about what I thought it was. That'll be a different day. I don't even know what this live was, but this live turned out pretty good. It turned out pretty good. And I appreciate you for coming. And I was going to sing happy birthday to True Slayer, but I'll get her later on. I'm going to make sure I come on later on just to say happy birthday to her. And y'all, take it easy. Be safe. And thank you for rocking with me. Time to go get them dollar bills.